Man, you think America is the only place that has race wars? Shit. Watch this. What's good, Pookies and Ray Ray? It's your man's Passport Pete, and today we're gonna be talking about how I got myself involved in a full-fledged race war in Tokyo, Japan. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. These stories I be telling y'all are 100% authentic. I ain't doing this shit for views. I'm literally just telling y'all my experiences. I say since 2013, I've been overseas constantly since 2013, and it is now 2023. So what's that? 10 years. I've been consecutively there. I've been consecutively back and forth overseas. Most of, I spent 2 years in Japan. I spent 1 year in South America, and I spent almost 4 years in Africa. So let's go ahead and get into this story. Wait, before we even get into that, if you have not, hit the subscribe button, because that's what I'm here for. Also, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of these stories. And last but not least, go ahead and give it a thumbs up if you one of them folks that be forgetting, man. All right, so as y'all know, when I was back in Tokyo, Japan, or I was living in a city outside of Tokyo, but we would go to Tokyo on the weekends. You could either take a bullet train or you could take a regular train. I think one is like 45 minutes and the other one's like an hour and some change. I can't remember, it's been so long. But nonetheless, man, whenever we would, go to Tokyo, I would tell y'all it's an overnight thing. You ain't going and coming back. You have to stay. Like, I think the last train stops running at like 11. And the clubs don't start jumping to 2. So once you're there for the night. And the first train leaves at like 6. So you just have to wake up hella early and then get back to where you need to go. But anyways, nonetheless, this specific time, we went to Tokyo and the aircraft carrier for the military folks was not in port. So what that means is the clubs were not super jumping. So right next to the hip hop club we go to called Club Lime, there was a Latino club. It was like a Spanish club, and they play like bachata, merengue, and stuff like that. And so we would go back and forth from that club to the other club on the days when the hip hop club wasn't jumping. So this specific day, right, we go to the hip hop club. It was dead. The carrier wasn't there, so it was regulars. It was cool. It was a cool little vibe still, but it just wasn't super lit like it normally would be. So we decided to go check out the Spanish club. I don't remember the name, so let's just call it El Nino's. So we decided to go over and check out El Nino's. Now, mind you, we all, it's a club night, so we all fresh, we all been drinking. And I'm gonna give you some context so you can understand what's going on. All right, so in the main group, it was 4 of us. All right, I'm gonna give everybody names. So it was my dog D. He's like a 5'11", 6-foot dude from Pompano Beach, Florida. My man's Corey. He's about 5'10". He's about 5'8", 5'9". Little light-skinned dude from Chicago, Illinois. And the last dude, we're gonna call him Sean, and he was about 5'10", from Buffalo, New York. So this is the main group, including myself, Passport Pookie from around the way. All right, so that's the main group. But in the club, we knew other folks. Because like I said, I told you in my previous videos about Japan, we were known out there. We were the guy, we was the I wouldn't say the go-to guys. We were one of the it groups. So everybody knew us. We always had the prettiest girls. Everybody knew us, et cetera, et cetera. So we knew guys in the club, in the hip hop club. But this was our main group. This was usually the guys we was with. So anyway, we go check out the Hispanic club next door. And immediately when you walk in, this is the setup of the club. So when you walk in, the first thing you see to the back of the club is the bar. To the left is going to be like some seating area. And then to the right is going to be the dance floor. So immediately when we walk in, we see a group of Latino guys at the bar. All right. And to the left, when you walk in, so it was like this. Latino guys straight ahead. To the left, Latino women. So when we walk in, immediately, boom, the atmosphere changes. So you could see the guys looking at us like, what they doing in here? Now, granted, there's a decent sized Latino population in Japan, but I'm pretty sure these guys was military guys because they had the military cut. Nobody had facial hair. And at this time, this was the time when everybody had all the non-black guys had the swoop over, like with the hard part, high fade with the swoop over and the hard part. Yeah, so you can kind of tell the military guys. And then they would, they had a little muscle on them like they would, be in the gym. So nonetheless, and granted, let me give you some more context. In Japan, there's a Navy base, there's an Air Force base, and an Army base. So when I say military, they could have been from any branch, but most likely it was probably the Navy. So they looking at us like, man, what they doing over here? Ain't it, you know how they be talking like, man, ain't it a hip hop club next door? What they coming over here for? And then on the other hand, you could see the women, now when we walk in, the music is playing, the guys is at the bar, and the women just over there sitting down. I'm like, I never understood why a guy would bring his chick to the club and just have her in there sitting down, not having her dance, especially a Latino woman, bro. You already know they want to dance, bro. So when we come in, we could see them choosing, like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Because the guys ain't showing them no attention. I don't know if they was with them or I don't know if they wasn't. But anyways, nonetheless, so we go in and we kind of just stand off to the side. And I asked my boy D, I'm like, man, shit, what you trying to do? Man looked at me and said, I'm about to get me one. And he's talking as far as the Latino women. He's about to get him he's about to pull up on one of the girls. So he asked me what I'm going to do. And I said, shit, I'm going to do the same thing then. So he walks up to this chick. And the women were all nice looking. So it was only 4 of them. And it was probably like 6 to 8 of the Latino dudes. But anyways, so he walks up to the chick and he's like, hey, you want to dance? And she was like, what? He was like, do you want to dance? Now, the music is loud, but it's not too loud because it's not a hip hop club. It's just, this place is literally designed for dancing and drinks. So she looked at us, she looked back at him, and she was like, okay. And then she gave her clutch, her little purse, to her friend. She gets up, they start dancing, we smiling, we rooting them on like, that's my boy, because, he just pulled him one, right? And so now you can see the Latin dudes, they tapping each other, looking like, man, you know how it go. So anyways, I'm like, well, shit, it's only 3 more girls left, and it's 3 of us. So if I'm going to get the one I want to get, I'm going to have to pull up on her now. And it was one. So I told a story before about how I got caught cheating on my Japanese girlfriend with a Colombian chick. I can't remember how I told y'all how I met her, but this is in fact how I met her. I met her in the Spanish club. So it was a nice little Colombian and Japanese chick, which I found out later that's what she was after we started kicking it and dating and shit. But I seen her, man. She had on a white dress and it had like, a dancing dress, and it had like these little gold things on it, and it had like a little split down the middle. It was like you could see some cleavage and some belly and stuff like that. Her body was on point. She had nice curves on her, long black hair and red lipstick on, bro. So I was like, yeah, she'll get her. So I walk up to her and I smile at her and I said, what you trying to do? And I showed her these pretty teeth. And she smiled back at me, and she had nice straight teeth. That's how I knew she was something different than because she kind of had Japanese features, but like I said, she was just different. And her teeth were super straight, like she had braces and shit. So I'm like, oh yeah, she different. And she was like, okay. And she had an actual accent. So we go out to the floor, because like I told you, a lot of those military, a lot of the Hispanic population in Japan, in Tokyo at that time was, military chicks. So this chick actually had an accent though. So I'm like, okay. So, we go out and do our thing, a couple songs pass by, and oh yeah, and then, all right, so before I forget, so 2 of my guys left, 2 girls left. So once I grabbed the second chick, one of the Spanish guys, I guess the other chick was his chick. So one of the Spanish guys comes around and grabs his girl and pulls her over there with the rest of the guys. So that leaves 1 chick. So it's Corey left and Sean. Corey was like, hey, man, shoot, I'm about to go slide back to the hip-hop club. I'm going to let y'all do y'all thing. Hit me up if you need me. I was like, okay, cool. So that leaves 1 chick for Sean. And Sean was a goofy dude, bro. He was a funny-ass dude. And so he walks up to Shorty. He was like, hey, you want to dance? And she was like, no, thank you. She was like, no, thank you. He was like, okay. And then so he goes off to the side. And so a couple songs done passed by, and now I'm in old girl ear. Let's just call her Anna, because that was her fucking name. So I'm in Anna's ear, and I'm like, yo, so where you from? She was like, I'm Colombian and Japanese. I'm like, damn, how does that happen? He was like, well, my father moved over here, and he, had me with a Japanese woman. I'm like, okay. So I was like, you speak Spanish and Japanese? I obviously could tell she speaks Spanish. She in a Spanish club, and she had a Spanish accent. And I was like, and she was like, yeah. She was like, but I also speak full-fledged Japanese. I'm like, damn, that's dope. You don't really run into that too often. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, cool. So I'm like, hey man, you trying to go to the hip hop club, man? You know, I got some more homies over there. You know, I feel like it'll be a better vibe. It's a lot more people, you know, it'll be a better vibe. And she was like, okay. And I tell D, and I'm like, hey, bro, you trying to slide back to the other spot? Because, you know, we dancing face to face in this club. If we go to the black club, we going to be dancing butt to face. You know, I'm trying to feel on her booty, her booty. You see what I'm saying? You know, you know, in our club, you know, she got to be bouncing that thing on me. Now, this is where stuff gets spooky. So we get ready to head out of the club. We on our way out of the club. The girls is coming with us. It's just, and then my homeboy who didn't have a girl, he had already walked out previously. So Corey went back to the hip hop club. Once Sean got turned down, he kind of just stood to the side, and then, you know, as he seen us leaving, he walked out before us. So it's me and D, the last two out the club. So as we're walking out the club, one of the Latino dudes comes up and grabs the girl that D is with. I don't know if it was his chick. I don't know what the fuck going on. But in Spanish, he says, where are you going with this black guy? And obviously, man, that's like basic Spanish, you know, negro for the color, you know, the basics, you know, so it wasn't hard to get what he said. And then I said, damn, what's wrong with him? I looked at D and I said, damn, what's wrong with him? And D was like, shit, I don't know. But he said it at the dude. He was like, shit, I don't know. Like, you know, like, do you got a problem type shit? And the Latino dude just pushed him. And then from that moment, bro, when he pushed him, D hit him with a mean 3-piece. And it was just like, snap your fingers, do the step. You could do it all by yourself, bro. Once D hit him with that 3-piece, his guys ran over and it was a full-fledged brawl, bro. And I'm talking about when D hit him, the second guy comes running over. And I hit him with 2. But instead of me continuously to pound on him, I hit him with 2 and I wrapped my arms around his shoulders. So in my mind, I'm like, well, damn, you know, once I did that, I could feel he was kind of a stronger dude. And at this time, I was pretty beastly too. So when I grab him, I'm like, all right, you know what I'm saying? This dude's big. So he's just digging into my ribs. So the best thing I could think of, I had on Tim's because I knew if, and just in case I ever got into an altercation, I need to be wearing Tim's, bro. Like, you know, I don't know why, it just was my go-to shoe. So when I grabbed him, he's trying to punch me in the stomach, but he wasn't. If I wrapped my arms around his arms, he could have broke me free. But since I wrapped my arms around his shoulder, he couldn't really get, you know, you can't really expand your shoulders like you can expand your arms, but you can't really expand your shoulders. You see what I'm saying? So, but at the meantime, he's hitting my ribs. He's like grabbing me. He's like, you know, he's making me sore. So what I do is I put my boot down, I turn it to the side, and I clip his foot, and we fall down and we roll on the ground. And I'm just holding him at this point. But as I look to the side, man, it was pure pandemonium, all within, because like I told y'all in my previous videos about Japan, whenever the club wasn't super lit, it would always be a bunch of people outside. So like outside the club was another club. You see what I'm saying? So once that happened, bro, Spanish and black dudes was just jumping in from all over. Like I told you, we was known out there, and I guess these guys was known in their little subdivision too. So I'm talking about a couple people turned into a full-fledged street fight in the middle of Lion Club in Japan. Now, this ain't the first time I seen something like this, man. I done seen Japanese versus white guys. I done seen black guys versus white guys, and I also seen African guys. Like, now, it's a bunch of Nigerians out there. I done seen African guys versus black guys, dog. So I guess black guys are always the common denominator, but nonetheless, bro, we gonna hold our own. And I was proud to see it that, you know, the rest of the black guys had just jumped in without needing to know what the fuck was going on. So it was black against brown, bro. It was a full-out brawl. So, like I told you, bro, I'm holding on to this guy because I'm like, bro, if we get up and we start back in the function, I may get hit in the head with a bottle. So much stuff can happen. So I'm just holding him, and we rolling around on the ground, and I'm just holding him. Next thing I know, I feel somebody yank me by the shirt. I'm like, oh, fuck, one of these niggas done grabbed me. But who it was Corey. He heard about what was going on and ran outside. Because you got to remember, bro, a regular fight take like 2 or 3 minutes. But this was multiple people fighting. So he grabs me up off the ground and he slings me to the side and he runs in front of the Spanish dude and he's like, hey, he's like, man, what y'all fight for? Hell no, man, what the fuck going on, man? What y'all fight for? No. And he pulls me to the side, and at that moment when he pulls me to the side, the police pull up. Now, this is where shit gets difficult, because my homeboy, the one who I wouldn't say initiated the fight, but the one that the fight broke out with, he's getting stumped by two dudes. He's getting stumped out by two dudes. So he's laying on the ground. He got his head covered up. And I'm like, D. And I'm telling you, so I'm like, D. But as I'm saying this, the police pulls up. So I'm like, I'm already off to the side. I don't look like I'm involved at this point. And everybody else still fighting. And I'm like, if I run over there and I help D, nigga, we all going down. It ain't gonna be nobody to tell the story. It's gonna be, you know what I'm saying? It's not gonna benefit nobody. So the police come and they start breaking up the fight and shit. And I stand off in the cut, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to look like I ain't even been a part of this shit. So they break the fight up, man. They take whoever they gonna take. They didn't take everybody. And I don't even think Japanese police had guns and stuff. But anyway, they break the fight up. They started taking people, and they, because some people wouldn't stop fighting, so they took some people in. Luckily, none of the originators end up getting booked or anything like that, but we end up all linking back up like, man, what the fuck? That shit was crazy. They were still mean mugging us, because like I said, the clubs was right next to each other, but there was a space in between. I can't remember if there was something in between it or just an alley or something, but nonetheless, when you went to Lion Club, on the right side of the club is like a dead end. So like I said, that whole street would sometimes turn into a club. So when that happened, we regrouped and shit. And the Spanish niggas like, no, fuck those putos. They said they still screaming they shit. And then, like I said, I hit the dude and he never got a chance to hit me back. So I knew he was living. I knew he was hot. He was 38 hot, boy. So anyways, we move forward and we getting ourselves together like, man, what in the fuck, man? Y'all boys straight? Yeah, we straight. And then out of nowhere, here comes this Spanish chick like, are you okay? Papi, are you okay? Are you okay? And she came and found me. She made sure I was okay. I'm like, man, shit, yeah, I'm about to go. You coming or you staying? And she was like, I'm going to come with you. Let me tell my friend. She told her friend. And then her friend went with, we all just went our separate ways, man. But yeah, that's exactly what happened. I'm trying to keep this story short, man, because it could go on forever. But yeah, man, I was involved in a full-fledged black versus brown race war in Tokyo, Japan, bro. Roppongi to be exact. I'm pretty sure some people, if you was there around that time and you was partying and going to Lion Club, you know about that fight. You know about that fight, man. So for all my people who made it this long, hit that like button for you, boy. If you enjoyed the story, hit the dislike button. If you didn't, also subscribe to the channel, because that's what I'm here for. It get cold in these streets. Bundle up.